Sober up. Man, my allergies have been off the his
This
end.
is like ASMR. It's like at the end of a beer commercial.
Dude, we should definitely do an ASMR, whatever thing channel.
ASMR.
We just like lick things. Just like,
Ugh, stop it.
there's an audience for it. Oh, I swear. We've got to be up to like $12.
No, I opened it the other day. We're like up to 20 something bucks, man.
Look at that.
Let me see.
That almost covers half of my water bill.
Money. $25.88.
Wow. And we're letting every single one of those people down right now.
So this episode goes out to the sponsors. The sponsors are Monica, Jack, Chris, and Nicholas.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for sponsoring. If you want to sponsor Prone to Ponder, go to anchor.fm/prone-to-ponder/support.
For as little as 89 cents a month.
99 cents.
Is it 99 cents?
Yeah. If it was 89 cents, I think more people would be doing it.
That's true. For some reason, not everybody has $1, but whatever. For 99 cents a month, you can support 2 average-looking men, one with a beard and other with really smelly feet.
I do have smelly feet.
Like really smelly feet.
They're not smelly right now.
It's so bad that you have to put your shoes outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you use ball spray on your feet.
I do. What else are you going to do?
But you have very smelly feet. Anyway, how are you? I think everybody wants to know how we're doing.
I don't think anyone cares.
Wow, okay. I care.
I've
gone through a lot, okay?
To be honest, today
That's
was
fine.
kind of, I mean, you walked in the door, I said, how's your day? You said it was kind of lackluster. I'm
Yeah.
feeling that. Today was kind of lackluster. We're recording this on the day of the inauguration.
Yep.
On the 20th.
January 20th.
And I don't know. I feel like life has just been sort of just like going through the motions the past couple weeks.
You know what? On like 2 weeks ago, actually last week, I got a call from one of my directors in my company, and she was like, "Hey, how was your weekend?" I'm like, "Honestly, it's same old, same old."
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like it's been the same. We've done this like the same feeling, same thing since July of 2020. I feel like nothing has changed. It's not like I want to say it's like been empty, but I just feel like you're right. It's like the same motion. Like nothing's changing, nothing's opening, nothing's getting better.
Yeah, my emotional state isn't in a bad place. I find myself being happy.
Yeah.
But I also find myself being extremely melancholy from time to time. Depressed is the wrong word.
Yeah.
I think melancholy is a little more appropriate. More towards sort of just,
Yeah. Yeah. Like, like EH.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that we're doing this again.
Yeah.
Because it gives me something to look forward to, something to strive for.
We've had a couple busy weeks.
We have. We've been busy, and again, to our sponsors, Monica, Jack, Nick, and Chris, we apologize for not being here these past couple weeks.
Yeah.
It's it's the holiday season. And
fun.
whoop-dee-doo.
Okay.
And I'm so excited for Christmas again. I hope it comes back soon.
It's currently January 20th. Mia Stubblefield, you'll have to send us what the date is. How many days left? It was like when we left, it was like 344 or something like that.
We were at our friends Nick and Mia's house, and she has the calendar, little snowman guy holding up a sign that says how many days till Christmas.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think today, first of all, do you have anything that you would like to, catch the people up on or anything? Because I got a few things I want to talk about.
No, I don't think so. Nothing that I would like to share publicly right now.
All right, so
yeah,
let's talk.
You're like, okay, let's go. I don't give a shit. All right.
So let's talk about 2021.
Okay.
Because I feel like both, even though we both are in this state, and it was different. I think this sort of melancholy feeling hit me like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago.
Okay.
But at the very beginning of the month, as I do every year, I felt like a pretty hefty drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen that in you too, that 2021 for both of us, we're going to make a good year. That we've got goals, we've set goals, we are working towards those goals.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about any of that sort of stuff?
Yeah. I mean, every year I'm always I try to be very driven. I mean, I had a lot of things that really beat me down before the year ended of 2020. So to try and stay positive going into 2021 was very hard. And then getting hit with more things these past few weeks, it is really hard. And a lot of my goals or resolutions, I don't really believe in resolutions because everybody's like, oh, resolutions end by February 28th. All right, cool. Yeah, on to the next thing. Like goals are something that you can accomplish. It sometimes can take longer than a year to accomplish. Yeah. So, the goals that I set in place were pretty, they weren't like, lose 30 pounds or, I don't know, eat a salad every day, something like that. Mine are more like personality-wise, try to be happier, be less on your phone, be more attentive, read a book every day or read every day instead of play video games for 16 hours. So, and I've been holding to all of those actually.
Which I've noticed.
Yeah.
I guess you don't have to go into specifics, but what have you found to be different this year versus other years? Like if you make a commitment to do something like less video games or read more, whatever that is, I've actually seen you doing those things. You have been playing a lot less video games. You've been reading more. Like what's different this year from other years?
Well, first and foremost, last year I decided I wanted to have a consistent sleep schedule because I believe in good recovery for your body, whether you're working out or not. I think everybody needs a good sleep schedule.
Especially for your mental state.
Exactly. Yeah. Your body just can't run on fumes. It just can't. Yeah. And people who are like, I need 4 hours of sleep, I'm like, you're lying. You need sleep. So I wanted to have a consistent sleep schedule, and I was able to keep that for a very long time. It's unfortunately going to start changing soon, but as you yawn, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's getting kind of late.
I know. I've noticed we've been going to bed at like 9:30 every night.
I'm all about it. It's like perfect. But then I started working out every day, and it really, man, fitness, one of the biggest things, because this is, whenever you're listening to this is still COVID times. Whether this is before the war or after, we don't know. During COVID, like one of the biggest things that the CDC recommended is fitness. And I was, during COVID or when we were all locked down and everything was closed, I tried my best to get outside or lift in the basement or do something to stay physically active, to build a better body, mind, spirit, whatever it might be. So that really helped to keep like my mind very sharp. And I've gotten to the point where I'm like, there are some mornings my alarm clock will go off at 5 and I'm like, I don't want to go in today. I don't want to do it. And then I'll like be laying in bed and I kind of go back to sleep, half asleep. And then my body will be like, you fat piece of, and I'm like, all right. And I'll just like get up and do it and I'll just run over. So, that consistency, and I'm a firm believer on trying something new every week, or every 2 weeks or whatever, to try and be consistent with those things, whether it's like, if it's fitness, around, bump up your weight every week, or, take away some dirty thing that you're eating or whatever it might be, to continue to add something or take away something, whatever you want to, however you see it. So, that I'm a big believer in that kind of stuff. So my friend gave me, this book called Grit, and I was like, you know what, just giving me the book, I was like, I really want to read this. I really, really, really want to read this. And I noticed that my sleep sucked because I would just like sit on my phone, or I'd watch a YouTube video before I go to bed, and that would just like ruin my head. Yeah. And they always say like, you shouldn't be, looking at a screen all night, blah, blah, blah. I just felt that I needed to add something and do something more stimulating to myself, because I feel like we can spend so much time just staring at a screen. I stare at a screen all day, and trying to get that little dopamine level, where it's like reading a book is so much more rewarding, I feel,
in the long term.
Like, for sure. Reading the book, like the book that I'm reading, I read a fantasy novel, but I have a bunch. I just bought the like entire collection for like $30. And I was like, I got one more book coming tomorrow. And I'm like, just like looking at it on my shelf, I'm going, yes, I get to read all that. Like, that's exciting. And they're like 1,000-page books. Like, I'm pretty pumped to read these. And I want to read them by the summer. I mean, I probably will finish them way before then, but it's just something to look forward to, even every night too. And I just remember, not currently in a relationship right now, but like having to just text or FaceTime before bed. And I'm like, that's just not how I want to go to bed. Yeah. I want to go to bed not so much stimulated in the brain, but more satisfied to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And that's just something that I added on. And honestly, like I've been doing it the past couple of weeks, and it's been so rewarding. Even when we were at Nick's house, I was like finding a way to read it. You know, the book that I brought. I put my phone. I mean, now I even bought an iHome like portable charger to put across my room, and so I don't have to like stare at my phone. I'm not tempted to stare at it. So I put. You know, you talk a lot about Atomic Habits, the book that you read.
Yeah.
Which it's on my list. To put like a quote unquote barrier or an extra step to changing your habits.
Yeah, if you have a bad habit, a way to help you break that habit or stay away from that habit is, like you said, put extra steps in front of it. Just make it a little bit harder.
Right.
Humans, we don't want to do things that are hard.
Right.
Even if it is that little thing for a little, bit of dopamine or whatever it may be. If we put the phone on the other side of the room, most likely every single time we're not going to go up and get it. And if you could cut your phone usage in half, that is huge.
Right. Yeah. And I find myself every phone nowadays can tell you how many times your phone is open and how long you're on it. And I find myself like it's getting smaller and smaller every week, not by like huge margins,
a couple minutes.
But like, I've got time before work. So I'm like, well, I could sit here and watch some show, or I could read.
Yeah.
And I just find that so much more rewarding, because I'll get anxious and I'll get worried, and I'm like, I just got to read a book. I just got to sit down and start reading.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think how much time us as like Americans, and I'm sure people around the world too, but I've been to a lot of places and it's not nearly as bad, but how often we open our phones and just mindlessly scroll.
Yeah.
Whether that be the internet or social media or through our pictures or whatever that may be, it's crazy to think how much time we actually spend doing that. The average American spends about 2.5 to 3 hours a day with their phone open. I'm like, dang, 2 to 3 hours a day, let's say 600 to 700 hours a year. And I had this conversation with you a while back. I'm like, man, can you imagine what you could accomplish if you took 600 hours and put that towards something else?
Yeah.
Every year. Like you could learn to fly a plane, jump out of that plane.
Yeah, you could learn to fly, and you could do skydiving.
And you can learn to skydive
in a year.
With 600 hours of time. And it's crazy to think like the different kinds of things that we could do and the difference that we could make in not just our own lives, but in other people's lives if we use that time a little bit differently.
And this just occurred to me right now, like when watching WandaVision the other day. The first couple episodes are like kind of 50s and 60s sitcoms. And I know it's acting, but look at how happy they were as just, they didn't have that. Like, I just feel like everyone nowadays is just shells of people. And what social media and phones and electronics has done to people, where it's like, obviously there's that photo. I always say it's like, baby boomers are always like, you're always on your phone, and they show the photo of people on the subway reading a newspaper, like hundreds of people reading a newspaper. It's like the same thing. It's like, yeah, but that was, it is the product of the time.
Yeah.
But I just feel like if we put our phones down and enjoyed the presence of people, because frankly, life is so short. It's so short to worry about what's going on Facebook, because nobody cares. But yeah, well, what about you? What are your goals this year?
I've got several goals, one of which being like to read a book, one book a month. And I'm on my second book already, and I'm finishing the last chapter tonight, which is good. You mentioned Atomic Habits. I read that book. That's a great book for anyone looking to build better habits or break bad habits. It's super practical, and it's a really easy read. And, it's funny because Fred told me to read the book, and I've had a few people ask me, oh, how's that book or whatever. And it seems like such a cliche answer to say, oh, that book changed my life. But it really did. Like waking up every single morning with a new perspective on how to go about my day.
Yeah.
And this other book I'm reading called The Common Rule right now, also about building good habits in your life. Mm-hmm. We're habitual animals.
Yeah.
Us as humans, like we do things based on, like, 98% of our day is done based on habit. Mm-hmm. And tapping into those formulas and adjusting those properly could help us live a much more fulfilling life, so that, I don't know, that's been really good for me, reading books, a book a month. And I don't know, this year feels different to me. And I think it could have a lot to do with the fact that over the course of a year, wow, it's crazy, it's nearly been a year now, with COVID, seeing just how much time we have. And what I mean by that is, looking back, they said originally, okay, it'll just be a couple weeks, it'll blow over.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah.
And then, 2 months go by and they're like, oh, it'll be another couple months. And now we're a year into this thing and we still don't know when it's going to end. At the same time, I've done so much and so little over that amount of time. Mm-hmm. My relationships, I think, have been strengthened, I would say. Mm-hmm. They're a little more concrete now. Yeah. Because I've had to work through so much shit over the past year. Yeah. Because everyone had their own stuff that they were going through, and everyone's going through things that nobody expected to go through, know? So, relationships have been different. My view of time and what I do with my day has been different. I have a new perspective this year. And I'm really excited to see where 2021 is going to take us.
Yeah. I am very optimistic on this year. Let's see. I went to therapy for a lot of anxiety like 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah. Actually 3 years ago. And I just was so worried about, at the time my life was so jumbled. It's still very jumbled, but it was so jumbled to the point where I was like, at some days I just couldn't get out of bed. And she was like, well, what's the problem? And she's like, well, like I've got this going on and this going on. She's like, well, when are these things going on? I'm like, well, it's 2 months or 3 months. And she goes, why are you worrying about that right now? Yeah. Like you need to think about what you can do next week or this week or tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And I was able to compartmentalize that really well. And I still use that to this day to think like, okay, you know what? Next month is going to suck, but I can't do anything about that right now. Yeah. Except I can do things today that can help me now that will benefit a month from now, but I have to focus on just today. Yeah. So it's just take it day by day.
And that's what's hard, is tapping into that drive.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because it's so much easier to choose to not tap into that drive, because I think the drive is there. Mm-hmm. It's somewhere. You might have to really dig for it. Yeah. And you might have to try things that you've never tried before to actually find that. Yeah. But everybody is capable of finding that drive, right? Yeah. And it's just like we were talking about yesterday. Yesterday I was listening to Billie Eilish all day and just feeling so like depressed about myself as a musician, because she's blew up when she was 15. She's 18 now or whatever, and she's one of the biggest pop stars in the world and has more songs streamed than all of my favorite bands put together. On just one song.
Yeah, that's disheartening.
And it's disheartening because, like I said yesterday, it's interesting growing older, because when we're young, everyone that we look up to and everyone that we admire and that we want to be like is older than us. Yeah. And it's like, okay, cool. When I'm there, I'll have those kind of opportunities. Yeah. And as we start to pass those people, and as really extremely successful people start to come out of the woodworks and they're several years younger than us. Yeah. I remember like when Post Malone blew up. Yeah. He was like 2 years younger than me. I'm like, are you kidding me?
He's a year younger
but than he's me, he's fantastic.
Oh yeah. He just looks like a goblin. I just can't get over that.
He's people super
are like,
talented.
I know so many women that'd be like, oh yeah, I'd totally do that. Be like, he looks like something straight out of Lord of the Rings. Like, how does that even think? He's probably an amazing guy, and I would love to meet him. But
oh man,
yeah.
Post Malone, if you want to be on Prone to Ponder, hit us up.
next week on Prone to Ponder. Yeah. But I heard something once upon a time. They said motivation is like when you dip your hands into like to get some water.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you try, it's just gonna fall right between your fingers.
Yeah.
You know, you have to constantly keep doing it. Like it's not always gonna be there or dry.
Lap it up like a dog.
Yeah, and you have to, you know, and you have to constantly. And sometimes that runs dry, so you have to go someplace else to find it.
Yeah.
And oh, dude, trust me, that's my biggest thing is I not last year, but the year before 2019, when I lost a whole bunch of weight, like there was like 2 months that I just never saw any difference.
Uh-huh.
I didn't see a difference in my strength. I didn't see a difference in my weight, nothing until like that third month, like the first day of that third month, I was like, oh, I got to go into the gym. And I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh, like I saw a little difference and I was like, boom, like here we go. So I just like you just have to keep plowing through, like, well, you know, when you're going through hell, keep on going, don't slow down. Who is that?
Rodney Atkins?
I don't know.
I think.
Is that him? I don't know. Anyway, so, oh my gosh, social media needs to die. Social media, like, I feel like is such a detractor from that. People get so lifeless and so gross from it. Like I remember,
because you can hide behind it.
You can hide behind it, and you can try and find motivation from it. And don't get me wrong, like you can find so many things. You can find so many great things, and you can meet so many great people. That's the point of it all, is to stay connected. Right. But it's become so much more than that. And don't get me. And how many times am I gonna say? Don't get me wrong. I find myself getting the dopamine levels, like posting a video of me doing a deadlift or a photo of me before or whatever it might be.
What's your handle?
Captain Cowbell.
Everybody go follow at Captain Cowbell right now.
Yeah, all 5 people listening. 5 new followers. I just hit 500 followers the other day. So, but then also it's beyond that. Like you're connected to so many people that we were talking about this with I'm not gonna say his name, but how you just find yourself searching. You find yourself searching at things of half naked women, or if you're a woman, you're looking at half naked men. But
or half naked women. Hey,
or half naked women. Yeah. Hey man, 2021, things can happen. But you find yourself doing all these things.
It can lead somebody down a dark, tempting road.
Right.
No matter what the situation be, whether that be women, men, drugs, alcohol, pornography, just some things that I think a lot of people are better off without.
Yeah.
Right?
I really wish our life would turn into like that show Revolution.
Where everything just shut down.
Well, the power just shut off because I mean, granted, that show turns like into
EMP.
like right. I or like social media just gets shut down.
Yeah.
Because I feel
or
like
the media.
Yeah,
freaking news.
It's awful. But I just feel like we're all missing the point. Of life, and that's to live it together. But
that doesn't sell, man.
No. And I saw this funny thing on TikTok today, but it was Gary Vee, and he's holding up a sign and he says, "Stop caring about other people are thinking of you."
Yeah.
He's like, just stop, because it's gonna get you nowhere. It's the same thing. It's probably, I mean, there's probably a statistic out there that people spend maybe, 4 or 5 hours a day worrying about what somebody else thinks of them.
Yeah.
Imagine what you could do with that brain power.
Seriously.
You could write a book. You could build a plane. I don't know. You could eat a book. I don't give a shit. Do whatever you want. Just stop thinking about what people think of you, because it's going to get you nowhere.
Yeah.
If I was up for a promotion and I thought about what people thought of me, I wouldn't. For me personally, I'd be crippled by anxiety. But I'm like, look, at the end of the day, like unless they like attack me and tell me I'm worthless and garbage, then yeah, I need to probably find a different job. But I don't need to be around these people. Like they've got bigger issues, and I'll let God sort them out.
Well, it goes back to something that, I mean, I'll never forget. Our teacher in Nashville told us the 5 T's for success, being talent, tools, team, tenacity, and timing.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that. And the timing is the one that I think I always forget.
Mm-hmm.
Not forget, but that's the hardest, because you're not really in control of that one, right? It's like you got to be at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's just up to God, and it's in His hands.
It should be luck instead of timing.
Yeah. So that's and I don't know. I guess we could move on from this conversation, but 2020 was an interesting year.
It was.
What are some things this year that puts a little bit of wind in your sails?
Wind in my sails?
Puts the wind in your sails. Gets you moving.
So, I guess I'm going to talk about some private things.
Okay.
So, within the span of 3 weeks, literally 3 weeks, like almost to the day, I found out my father had died in November of 2020. I found out in December. So in December, I found out my father died. I've had a really bad relationship with my father, and there was always like a piece of guilt that I held on to that. And we found out the week later, our friend Tanner died unexpectedly, and it really it just broke me to the core on how important it is to be connected to people, and how you can't just let anybody suffer in silence.
Yeah.
And I understand, like, life is hard to deal with, and as much as you try, sometimes it's just not, it doesn't work. Anyway. And then my girlfriend decided to break up with me. So the week later. So we ended 2020 on a bang, is what I would like to say. But as much as I would hate and feel like depressed, like my mind is telling me depressed. Anyway, but my mind is telling me to be depressed, but my body's like, no, like, why? Like, yeah, all these things suck, but take the lessons out of them.
Yeah.
Take the lessons on, don't just let some grudge go to waste. Don't let your life go to waste, and don't be with something that you're not happy with.
Yeah.
And I think walking into 2021, sort of being untethered. I have no tether to anything really. Like, nothing's really holding me down. My options are limitless, but to love unconditionally.
Yeah.
All those experiences have really brought my faith back, because I realized that my life was so much better when I was like actively seeking. And I was and I am very fortunate to be surrounded by some good people that are faith seeking people. But I made a pact with I made a pact in December, when this was all going down, to listen to one sermon a day until my birthday. Unfortunately, I fell short of that, but I still made the effort.
All fall short.
Exactly. The glory of God. We all fall short of it, and it's just it was so satisfying, I should say, to be able to listen for every single message, to get something out of it and be like, seek first the kingdom, go first the kingdom, stop, to let go of your let go of your life and pick up your cross daily. And that really just blew me out of the water. It doesn't matter what, what I get past. And it's funny that I'm saying these now, but I realized that everything that I went through from literally January 1st, 2020 to the 31st of 2020 was a lesson, and was a storm that I had to walk through. Because now I'm walking into so many different storms and opportunities, and he's going, see, I showed you. Yeah. You can do it. You can move forward. And I think that's what's pushing me forward.
And yeah,
I'm getting freaking goosebumps over here,
dude.
Man.
Preach, man. I think a lot of people,
in the name of Jesus.
a lot of people had that kind of year.
Yeah.
Between January and January. It really comes down to choosing what you want your perspective to be. Because do you want to sit in that, oh, woe is me, this year was garbage, and
which I feel like a lot of people are doing.
A lot of people are doing, because that's what the media tells you to do. Yeah. That's what the world wants you to do.
Like, this sucks.
Let's just talk about how much it sucks and that there's nothing we could do and all this sort of crap. And it's like, no, just take a step back and look at the good things that you got going. And if you don't have good things, make good things. Yeah. We're all at some point, and to some extent, we're all in control.
Yeah. It's funny. Shout out to my friend Katie. Her last name's Chigati or something like that. It's Italian.
Katie Chigati?
Yeah, that one. She told me the other day, she's like, find the good in every day. Find something. You hit a green light. Boom.
Hey.
You flick someone off. Boom. I can't make that part.
Well, this leads me into something else.
What was your sale?
Well, this is what it sort of leads me into.
Okay.
totally agree with everything that you said.
Yeah.
On a deeper note, on a more shallow note, if we will, finding the little things.
Yeah.
That's what really not got me through 2020, but that's what puts the wind in my sails daily, right? I wrote a couple things down. Different things in life's media realm.
Yeah.
Like Ted Lasso.
Oh.
I find myself waking up wanting, like really craving that relentless optimism of Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
If anyone hasn't seen Ted Lasso,
do
the free 7-day free trial on Apple TV.
Or pirate the video. I don't care. Watch it.
And watch Ted Lasso because it is so freaking good.
On the Ted Lasso, I find myself being not unconditional.
More like Roy.
Gnocchily.
Wanker.
Yeah. Right. I find myself being more not unrelenting optimistic because you can't just like switch it one day because something's gonna piss you off.
Yeah.
But to be like more happy.
Yeah.
And when
it's a conscious choice though.
It is a conscious choice.
And maybe it's not for everybody.
Next episode, Ted Lasso, we're gonna talk about.
But we'll have Jason Sudeikis on. Another one that I wrote down, Soul. That's another one that
made me cry.
In the past month we watched the movie Soul on Disney Plus, and
there is no free trial for Disney Plus, so you have to buy the whole year.
Yeah, but that one, I don't know, that one struck a chord.
Yeah,
no pun intended.
Yeah,
if you've seen the movie, but yeah, that's a great one. Just thinking about my life and why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Not why am I here, because that's a bigger question, but why do I do what I do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah.
That has, put some wind in my sails. Over the year, I started cooking more because we've been home more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe you could. I feel like I've gotten a lot better at cooking over the year. That's like I think one of my biggest ways to just like totally chill.
Yeah.
And decompress from the day is to like come home and make a meal, try something new, try a recipe I haven't before, make something up.
Yeah.
To serve people with that, whether that be you or, we have Nick and Tom over, whatever it may be, like having the 5130 guys over, whatever it is, or Taylor or whatever, but just sharing meals with people.
Yeah.
That's something that I think a lot of people, myself included, took for granted over COVID.
Yeah.
Having meals with people. The pub has been, it's always been like a dream of mine to have a hometown pub that the bartender knows my name and knows my drink, and I can just like go in whenever I want. And this pub is like closed, and I literally just text the bartender. I'd be like, "Yo, Carissa, you got a table?" She's like, we have tables. Are you coming in? I'm like, yeah, I'm coming in. I'm bringing some people. She's like, awesome. And we got to talk a lot with the people at that pub. And I think that has helped, at least it's helped me a lot this year to branch out, talk to new people.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be a little more outgoing.
Yeah.
What is one song this year that has really just like giving you the energy to go do what you need to do?
Keep hauling. That one?
Yeah, that's the one. When love
just seems so far away. But it's funny you say that because that song popped up like 2 weeks ago? No, longer than that, about a month ago. Or at least for me.
I showed it to you.
I know.
A month and a half ago.
I know.
Yeah, but I had been listening to it for 3 months before that.
Yeah.
Anyway, if anyone doesn't know, look up the song Keep Hauling by Show of Hands. It's like a Irish fisherman's song.
Yeah.
But it's all about just getting up and doing your thing every day. Keep hauling.
Do you think you can guess mine?
Give me a hint.
I sing it like daily. Wait for it.
Oh, yeah. That's another thing that brought both of us a lot of joy this year, I think.
Honestly, Hamilton. I understand Hamilton came out in 2015, but I remember.
But poor people like us never got a chance to
Exactly.
see it.
You think I could pay for a $300 ticket? Come on!
Seriously.
No, so we watched it. We watched Hamilton
like 19 times.
Well, the first time I watched it, you had already watched it before me, so we watched it at your sister's house. I was trying to watch it, but I was like, but you guys kept talking and
singing.
But you guys kept singing, and you guys they didn't have a sound bar, so I couldn't really hear much.
The TV was up to 100. You couldn't hear anything.
But that was the one song that played, and I was like,
I'm the one thing in life I can
exactly.
control.
But that's the one song that every single line I can resonate with.
Yeah.
And, and it's funny because if you know the story, Aaron Burr's demise is he waited.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't, whereas Alexander Hamilton took his shot. So you have these.
He did not throw away his shot.
Exactly. I'm not throwing away my shot. You're supposed to shot. Okay. Yeah. Not that I'm like waiting for my shot, but it's taking that lesson of that song.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's acknowledging in the song that he's original, he's inevitable, he's powerful, he's all these things. Every time I sing it, it's like I don't need to sing my shot because it's just not this. It doesn't give me the same feelings. But when I sing, wait for it, man. I'll be in the shower crying, sitting down.
That's what I hear every morning.
Yeah. I am the one thing in life I can control. Yeah, it's a great song. Honestly, like ever since I heard it, it's been killing me.
Yeah.
I listen to it like weekly. Wasn't me. Was that you?
Sorry, that was my throat.
Lose your stomach.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This is our first episode
2021
for 2021.
Yep.
This is episode 15.
Mm-hmm.
Prone to Ponder.
Ooh.
You know what I feel right now?
Yeah.
My feet.
Yeah.
They're a little wet. They're a little sweaty.
Yeah.
But they're cold.
See?
But they're cold. I don't understand.
Stinky ass feet. It's because
does anybody?
It's because the heat is not. Your feet are resonating.
I don't even know what the hell you're trying to say.
They're emitting heat.
Uh-huh.
But your shoes probably aren't keeping the heat.
These aren't shoes. These are slippers.
Your slippers.
I put the slippers on because...
Are you wearing wool socks?
No. Yeah.
See?
Yeah, but I changed my socks because I kept having the same problem.
No, it's because your feet... It's because the socks and the sandals are pushing the heat into your foot, and your foot can't emit the heat, so it's just staying cold.
Yeah, but
Science.
I put these on because I wasn't wearing any feet.
You can take your feet off?
Only on Wednesdays.
Oh my god. But today's a Tuesday.
No, it's a Wednesday.
I know. I'm not that dumb.
I don't know, man. I was going to say, if there's any doctors out there, this is the last thing I'm going to say. If there are any doctors out there who know why with sandals, God, you got me saying sandals now. With, what are these called? Slippers?
Yeah.
Or socks.
Mm-hmm. You can probably just Google it.
Any sort of combination. My feet are cold, but they're sweating at the same time. If you have that problem out there, go to anchor.fm/prone-to-ponder/support.
/support. Leave a comment.
Last bit of encouragement going into the new year for
don't be an asthmatic.
Well, some people can't listen as we wheeze.
Yeah, dude, I'm like so wheezy right now. Oh man, keep hauling. Because I think we were so caught up with how like shitty last year was. Obviously our problems aren't going to be fixed overnight. Things take time. This COVID thing isn't going to end anytime soon. What are you laughing for?
What?
You started laughing.
Because you said COVID like Pritzker.
COVID. Those COVID things. And COVID-19. I'm going to eat a sandwich.
is what it sounds like to have two asthmatics do a podcast. Oh, God. Okay. All right. Keep hauling. Is that what you got to say?
Yeah, it's all good. I'm about to go take a shot of your inhaler. Oh.
All right. I would say.
Oh, geez,
oh goodness gracious. I wiped the tears from my eyes. Oh, whew. Going in. Don't get me started again.
I'm gonna go with this. You gotta keep all this.
It's been going on for like 2 minutes. Oh,
we haven't had a laugh like this in a long time.
Oh, man.
Last time we laughed at this, I felt like my fart smelled so good.
Oh, man, I hope. Oh, gosh.
Okay. All right.
Man, I hope people stick around. I'm sorry, everybody. We're professionals, I swear. All right, get with it. Get with it. Get with it. That guy just spit took everywhere. Oh, Colin, it's all over the couch. Just spit take all over the couch.
Why did you look at me like that?
I just looked at you. God, if anybody wants to get cameras on this podcast and wants to see us do this, you got to support us. If we can get 5 more supporters doing $5 or more a month, we will get cameras on the show and we'll put the episodes out on video.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, goodness. Anyway, Colin's going to clean up the couch. The last thing I have to say is don't try to do this year alone. Find 1, 2, 3 people that you could go to in your life, that you can tell anything to, that you can have accountability with, people who believe in you and support you. Keep hauling. Make the conscious decision. When you find yourself slipping into that melancholy state, so many of us often do, myself included, you just need someone around you to say, yo, just be happy, man. You got this. Colin.
Yeah.
You got this.
I got this. Oh, I can't breathe. It's good. We
love you all. Please, please, please go to anchor.fm/support. Or no, don't do that. You're going to support something else. Go to Anchor.
I can't laugh anymore. You can't. Yeah.
Go to anchor.fm/prone-to-ponder/support so that we can pay for our inhalers. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
You too.
What?